Be an interesting answer.
Yeah, you just didn't answer.
How much do we make?
Yeah, you just didn't even answer it last time. So
Because we don't make any money.
yeah, I think maybe that's why. I don't know. But I thought I'd revisit that question.
You can revisit it if you like.
All right. Well, we just had Juneteenth, a very important federal holiday here in United States, and it signifies the emancipation of slaves, the last of the slaves in Texas. And I'd like to mention a little bit of the history of slavery here in the state of California and in San Bernardino. And this story here is about Elizabeth Flake Rowan. So this is the San Bernardino history tidbit. With the Latter-day Saints came the slaves that had lived with the families all their lives. We must remember that this was before the Civil War, and many of the saints had come just recently from the South as new converts themselves. They, of course, brought their entire households with them. As the Latter-day Saints Church believed in equality of all God's children, most freed their slaves. Many of these former slaves continued on their with their former owners as part of their families, and even took the last name of the family. Elizabeth Flake Rowan was one of these. Mr. Flake had died prior to their crossing the plains. Miss Flake died shortly after their arrival in San Bernardino, and Elizabeth stayed to care for the family until other arrangements could be made for the children. When a friend commented that Miss Flake was finally gone and Elizabeth would be free, she rebuked her friend and declared that losing Miss Flake was the same as losing a member of her own family. Elizabeth Flake married Charles Rowan, who had served as a valet to President Abraham Lincoln. After the Saints left, they owned property here in San Bernardino. They were respected and much loved. Their daughter Alice was one of the first blacks to graduate from college in California. She became a teacher in Riverside and is probably the first black teacher of white children in the California. It was Elizabeth Flake Rowan who informed the sheriff that Mr. Smith was about to leave the state with all his slaves. Slavery had been outlawed in California, and Mr. Smith was attempting to flee to Texas to maintain ownership. One of those slaves was Biddy Masson, who became the wealthiest woman in Southern California and subsequently donated her property for the African Methodist Episcopal Church on the West Coast. The congregation has gone to be one of the most influential churches in California. Elizabeth Flake Rowan was well liked and respected by the community. When she died in 1908, fellow pioneers of all races and creeds attended her funeral and acted as pallbearers. What do you think? What do you think, Eric? Were you paying attention? All right, we're going to have a history quiz on this right now. So what year was, no. So it's important for us to revisit the history that we have had here in San Bernardino and in California, and of course, the United States. Many parts of our history is often forgotten. And when you forget history, you're, what do they say? You're doomed to repeat it. Yes. Right. So we definitely don't want to revisit the horrors of slavery, and we want to study that history and make sure that we know what it was all about. And what was interesting about this read is it didn't just mention the horrors, right? She mentioned that she was part of that family, and losing the owner or whatever was like losing one of her own immediate family. Right. So it's important for us to realize too that these were people that were living their lives. They were friends and family, and then there was also bad things that was slavery, from torture to forced separation, all that. Bad,
Sounds like that wasn't the case here.
Yeah, there was some good stuff. I'm sure there was, maybe when when she was younger, but it was interesting to see her in her later years. It's
neat to hear that pioneers came from all backgrounds, and that kind of speaks to the diversity of our community.
And San Bernardino is one of the most diverse melting pots. And like I always said, That's why we have the best food, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
For
all these
sure.
different ethnicities from all over. I mean, look,
Mm-hmm.
Eric's already hungry, man. Wait, maybe that's me. I am hungry. Well, I'll have to take care of that in a little bit. So that's a little bit of history. I hope you all
Good
loved
story.
it. I love my history, and I don't remember everything out of this stuff. I have to read it over and over, and I always get a little bit more after I read something. So we've gone over Elizabeth a few times, and it's always interesting to revisit that history. So thank you very much for listening to that, team. All right, well. Introduce yourself and lay out all of your accolades and your
No one
boards.
cares.
I want every board. I want every job you do.
No.
Professorship, class.
Yeah.
What? My gosh, are you like some superhero?
No.
So how do you do
No.
all these things? People ask me this all the time, but I
Yeah.
think you do more than anyone I see.
Oh, no, not at all. I know a lot of people that do more than me, but I drink a lot of coffee.
Well, that does help. That does help.
Yeah, it is my drug of choice.
Yes, it's
So,
coffee. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that does help you get through those night classes, huh?
Well, you know what? We're teaching online now, so we give a lot of work that the students do online, and then we meet online for now in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So it's not the 4-hour classes that it was before. So I'm not working from 7 to 5 and 6 to 10 anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little easier.
So you can
Yeah.
manage to add that into your huge schedule.
I can manage to teach. It is one of my favorite things.
All right.
Yeah.
So what do you teach?
I teach at the University of Redlands School of Business and Society. That's the night school for the people that are working all day, and I teach at the graduate and the undergraduate level, primarily quantitative courses. But one of my favorites is called Capstone, and that's their undergraduate thesis. You know, that thing you write at the end of your program, and so they have to get through me to get out of there. And they have to demonstrate academic competency in at least 4 areas and bring everything together in a systems approach and make terrific recommendations and demonstrate that they have learned a lot in their time with us. And they do. And they do. It's a joy working with our students.
I think when you were in here last year, I just graduated on that hard thesis thing. Man,
Not a hard thesis
my
thing.
My brain is like free now. Like I was actually going
It's time
through
to do more.
all that literature and research, and I was like, am I ever going to read that book again?
Yes. And it stays with you. You know, I was never going to do a doctorate. And do you know why I did? Because when I got done with my graduate work, I missed school so badly that I had to go back. It was 6 months. I had to go back.
There is some fun spots about school, but I don't think writing the thesis was one of my favorite.
You should try a dissertation, my friend.
Yeah. That's the next one, huh?
That takes some time.
Whew.
But
Well,
it's so much fun. And you get to pick your topic and the way you're going to explore it, and you get to do something new that no one's ever done before. I mean, I think that's very exciting.
and good for you too, for your self-esteem and.
Well, just for what you can add to the body of knowledge on your topic.
Yeah,
Some
well,
other student is going to read that and you know.
Yeah, it's actually amazed me how many downloads my thesis has gotten.
Right.
I'm like, wow, people actually do pay attention to what's going on with certain things, especially if they're in that field.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, that's cool. And I agree with that.
Perhaps they were just interested in what you would write.
I'm taking a few more years.
Yeah.
Possibly. I'm taking a few more years.
It's all good.
Well, I actually hope people do use the stuff that was in my thesis project, and like especially the curriculums for early San Marino history and stuff. Go for it, you know. If you can find a way to teach that stuff to the kids, and I don't have to do it, then you've actually done part of my work for me. Right?
Exactly.
Right.
Or if it can be used in the classroom. That's pretty amazing. I don't remember having California history every year. I think fourth grade was a big California history year.
And probably barely any San Bernardino history in there.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
right.
And
Yeah.
but my great aunt and my great aunt, she had California and local history
Mm-hmm.
mixed in with some all of it together.
Mm-hmm.
Then my grandparents more focused on California and San Bernardino stuff.
Right.
Then my mama, it started to change. Started getting
Um,
away from focusing on local tribes and things like
right,
that,
right.
right?
Because we wanted our children to have a larger world perspective.
But it's going back. It's heading back the other way
It
now,
would
right?
it
Yeah.
would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it would be
Mr. Ramos
nice.
is Assembly Member James Ramos has
Yes.
done a great job, at least with the Native American curriculum,
Mm-hmm.
getting it to be local. Which
Oh,
is
he's a
incredible.
treasure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is incredible. But
Mm-hmm.
local history that
See? Well, a little at a
yeah,
time, you know.
we'll work on that.
Things change. Yeah.
So you're on several boards. Like, how do you
Sit
get
on
on a
some
board? Like, how do
boards.
you get on the San Bernardino County Museum board? How do you do
You apply
that? Okay.
and you interview, and if you are not, if you are in line with what they are looking for, then you usually get put on the board. There has to be space on the board. There's bylaws. The bylaws say you can have X number of board members if one is needed and you're recommended by someone. So it's good to go to the museum and get to know the people that are involved in the museum, and someone will recommend you to be on the board when there's an opening, and then you apply.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you get paid?
No.
So-
No,
so
no.
you're-
You're a
you're-
volunteer.
You're volunteering your time to
Yes.
make our history better or help make decisions for our history within the San Bernardino County Museum.
Well, the San Bernardino County Museum Association Board is there to handle money that people donate to the museum,
Oh,
because the museum is a county entity, right? So people can't give money to the government, even though it seems that way at tax time, but you can't donate, right? So the association
It's
takes the
interesting.
donated money.
So how
Yeah.
how, is there someone currently actively pursuing those funds? Like
Well-
I think I've received like some things from the museum, like
Right.
donate.
Membership
yeah.
and things like that.
But-
Yes, we
but like,
hire.
But they go for big money. you're
Well,
talking,
they
yeah.
go for whatever someone would like to donate, but
Okay.
sometimes people will put something like the museum in their will. So the county itself can't, and I don't want to say this wrong, but they can't take the donation. It has to go through. The association was formed for those donations to go through.
Yeah, like
I'm sure it's much more
yeah,
technical
yeah,
than the way I'm
there
saying
is,
it.
There is something to that.
Yeah.
But I do believe that certain government entities can take donations.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it may go in the general budget and not go exactly to where you wanted
Well,
it to
this
go. Yeah.
this is specific
So
for
the-
money,
the-
yeah. So
they're
it's
like,
very
"Give us
well
some money, but
invested.
we'll go to the museum. Sure.
No,
yeah.
this goes to the Museum
Yeah.
Association, very conservatively invested, and that money is in there in perpetuity, so that if I had $1 million to give, it could sit in there and grow, and then the interest would help pay for things like new exhibits and things like that make the museum more valuable for our students when they go through. And we have programs like Museum for All, where it's very inexpensive or free to anyone to go to the museum through programs like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So that's a good board.
No, forgive me if I don't know, but like the director just she just retired, right?
That was the museum director.
Yeah, the museum director.
Right.
Are they getting a new?
They have a new one.
They have a new one.
Yes.
And how are
He's
you,
terrific.
He's a great guy.
Yes, yeah,
All right.
but he's over the museum.
Mhm.
So the
But
association is separate.
There's still some interaction.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. We're raising funds to put exhibits in that museum.
And
Right.
the museum is fun, team.
Oh, the museum is
Yeah,
great.
I've been
It's
going
so
there
interactive.
since I could walk.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a little different than it was when I started, but like I could always remember, it was all orange groves around there when I first started going to the museum, and
Mhm.
we'd stop at this little fresh squeezed orange. Juice
There's still some
stand.
trees.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that little
Yeah.
spot. I pray
On-
for
on the
those
way in.
trees.
Oh.
I pray for our trees with citrus greening. Man, we're looking at some
Yeah.
we're gonna miss our orange juice,
Well,
team.
there's some beautiful
Yeah.
trees, and in the museum there is an exhibit on the local citrus industry.
And you can like basically fill up crates with like oranges and
You could do
yeah.
that.
I personally think that one needs a little more fun. But it didn't. The kids that I brought there, like second or two. They could have made a little more of that, but the revamping there. Let's hope.
Well, there's a lot of interesting animals and the eggshell collection and things like that.
Yeah, the eggshell collection I remember since I was a kid, but I believe
Right.
that it has to be there in perpetuity too, right?
I
'Cause
do not know,
Yeah,
but
he
my
donated
guess
the
is
money for
yes.
that whole wing for forever. So
Right.
so it's but interesting egg collection, and actually in that whole collection,
Scientifically valid.
my favorite is actually the condor. The
Oh,
wing spread.
sure.
Yeah, there's some eggs there too, but that's not as cool as seeing
The condor,
wing
the
spread, yeah.
birds are beautiful to be able to see them up close like that. And then there's always a new art exhibit in the FIS.
Yes.
Yeah.
Harvey Brown Jr. has an
Hardy.
Hardy
Brown,
Brown Jr.
uh-huh.
has an exhibit in there right now.
Currently,
right?
yes.
Yes, right.
Hmm.
What was it called? Do you remember?
I do not remember the name.
What was it about? But I seen it on.
The newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, with Facebook, you get all the feeds, and I read everybody's
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
But I'm like, it doesn't all stick in there. I don't know if it does. But they always have something cool in there. I remember about maybe 9 or months ago, there was a toy exhibit.
Oh,
Yeah, and had a bunch of toys.
how fun.
Yeah, from all different eras. So that was actually
Oh,
really
that's
fun to like
neat.
go through and see all the toys. When I
Yeah.
grew up and.
Well, isn't that kind of depressing, though, going into the museum and seeing something that you grew up with? It is a museum.
Not as depressing as hearing No Doubt on 99.9. but
Or in the grocery store, right? Yeah.
What the heck is going on?
That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, there is a hallway that separates two of the areas in the museum, and it has the typewriter and the telephone that I owned.
Oh yes, in that
Yeah,
little
makes you feel great.
square. Yes, that is an interesting electronic exhibit as you go up through there.
Yeah.
I love the new setup of the museum. The only thing that I've asked besides that little crate area to maybe revamp that a little bit, give it a little love.
It could be a little
Yeah.
bit more hands-on.
And interactive, yeah. There's this little kiosk, like they have this huge, beautiful picture of the whole the northern San Bernardino Mountains, right?
Right.
The whole north side. It's like beautiful. Actually, that'd be the southern side, right? But it's like the whole thing. And there's this little kiosk right in front of the arrowhead.
Oh.
I'm like, obviously whoever put it there.
Oh, so you can't see the arrowhead.
No.
Oh.
Of all the things, like, why would, but the person who did obviously doesn't know our history. And the former director did it when she came in here, right? She didn't really know it, right? So, like, you learn it as you get associated with it,
Right.
right? And to me, that was important. I did ask her just before if she could get it moved, but like she left right afterwards. So I
Well, you
imagine
know
that,
what? Now I know. So I'm going to bring it to someone
Ooh,
and
you
see
can
what
go-
they'll do.
Go look at that little kiosk. Right
Yes,
there.
I will.
Yeah,
I will.
It's right over there. And go
I've
look for the
never
arrowhead.
noticed that, so I'm glad you brought it to my attention.
Well, because I love the arrowhead so much.
Yeah, the arrowhead's beautiful.
Very
So
much.
that's how you get on a board.
And well, I actually got on the arrowhead. I hiked up halfway up
Oh, look at
almost to
that.
the top of the crack there.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found an arrowhead right there. In that arrowhead.
In the arrowhead.
An arrowhead in the arrowhead.
Wow.
And that matches local history as well. Like they said they shot an arrow into the green hill and it became a giant arrowhead.
What a cool story.
Yeah. So technically, they made the arrowhead, right? But
Perhaps not technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, like that's what they said they did, right?
Right,
So
right.
That it's if you want technically, you look in Wikipedia and it automatically says that it's a natural formation. When that's an obvious lie in the beginning because the Boy Scouts of America and the Friends of the Arrowhead planted these trees all the way around the outside, 20,000 of them. They said they were Israeli
Wow.
cypresses, but they're actually some kind of African willow.
Okay.
And so that alone, those pieces, makes it the largest piece of art in the world shaped, right? So it's not natural,
Okay.
right? At least at that point, right?
Right.
There is, it's not, there's like, the material is decomposing granite, but there's two huge troughs caught along the sides, right?
Which doesn't
Yeah,
sound
and
natural.
that's not how.
I'm not a geologist,
yeah,
so I can't
yeah.
say.
And-
But it
and-
does rather look not natural.
And I have seen landslides plenty of times.
Uh-huh.
I've seen some of the biggest landslides in the world. In fact, there's one right down in our low desert right here in India,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's not a landslide,
Right.
right? So, like, as we go through this, eventually what we'll realize is that has been shaped. It was a hill, maybe a natural white spot that they originally talked about, but they shaped it into a monument, and it's probably a burial, right? It's coyotes buried there, or the Taquas, or
Okay.
the first medicine doctor. So
Okay.
we got on a history, little history tidbit, right? I like to talk to my history, but for me, finding an arrowhead in the arrowhead shows the significance.
Yes.
Yes, how important.
It's very
it is.
meaningful.
Yeah, yeah. You're not, I guess it's possible it could have ended up there hunting, but this was a rounded end, so it looked like a ceremonial arrowhead piece that was either placed there or shot up there, and the rest decayed away. Probably 1,000 years old or more. So pretty interesting piece. Did you see
Indeed.
Did you see my pictures online of that?
I believe I did.
Yeah, good. All right, so we're going to keep getting that history out, team, and show how important it is. All right, so how we get on that? Oh, because we're talking about the arrowhead at the
You're
San
talking
Bernardino
about the
County
museum, yeah.
So anything important going on over there that we should go check out?
At the museum?
Yep.
I would say just go to the museum's website or on their Facebook page, and you can see everything that's going on all the time.
Okay, and bring the kids, team. Go on over there. It's like kids are free, right? And
I don't know what the actual
$5.
fees are, but they are very,
Yeah, they're
very affordable.
They are reasonable, team. They really
Yeah.
are. So,
You
yeah,
can spend the whole day there.
yeah, I have.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to photograph every single Native American artifact there.
And there are many.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then right after that, they changed the whole exhibit.
Hmm.
So I have the original pictures, and actually they took a lot of those artifacts and gave them back to San Manuel
Yes.
and local tribes, which is incredible. But
Yes.
but it's still cool that they're documented, and
Mm-hmm.
I can still look at some of the old stuff because there's important things. Like actually went through all the artifacts
Mm-hmm.
and took pictures, several pictures of each individual piece, like if there's fletching on the arrow, what type of feather was actually used, how far they
Neat.
cut the ends on when they fletched it,
Mhm.
like where they wrapped it, how many pieces within the shaft. So like those are documented. So if those get burned or lost sometime somewhere, people can find it
Yeah.
online. So that's what I use Facebook for. I just hope that it doesn't disappear like, oh man, like what they did on Twitter. That actually really scared me. I'm hoping there'll be this whole history movement with social media saying, no. You're not just going to just bleep all that out, right? You have to give it to the Library of Congress or something first. Like,
Right.
yeah, like they're talking about even deleting dead people on Twitter. I'm like, well, that's history. That's like, what if you can never get that information again? It's just, and then when I Love San Bernardino first got deleted, we had 80,000 members.
Oh,
right?
wow.
And I was like, I was arguing with them. I'm like, well, what about the history of the terrorist attack that unfolded on I Love San Bernardino?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, we'll think about historical aspects of our data in the future.
Oh, my.
And that's what they left me with,
Oh.
right? So it might be gone forever. I don't know. Maybe someday in the future. Oh, but I hope they end up saving that stuff. And that's
I hope
what,
so.
but then you have to use all the different platforms. And then you got to also write books, right?
Mhm.
So have you written a book yet?
I have not written a book.
Okay. And if you were going to write a historical book on our symphony, when would you start it?
When would I start writing the book?
Yeah.
Or at what time would the book chronologically begin?
I like where this is going.
Well, the symphony was founded in 1929, so I would probably begin the discussion in 1929, but I don't know if I would be writing a book on the symphony.
1929 is a good year, right?
It was
For the symphony?
a
Was
good
it-
year for the symphony.
Yeah, okay. California, we didn't have it as bad as the East Coast, but we did have some depression aspect problems here, right?
We did.
Yeah.
We had the Work Progress Administration.
We built
Right.
the Highway 18.
Yes.
And we did
The Garcia Center was built during
so
that.
much archaeology. I'm talking like amateur people that did incredible work.
Mhm.
They just hired people to do archaeology, and we still went through that information. We're like, wow, look how detailed! They did incredible work.
Indeed.
Yeah, so good things did come out of that. So 1929, and same building, or did they move different?
Same. Oh, we performed in a variety of places.
Okay.
A lot of high schools and such early on, so that everyone would have access to the music. It would be easy to get to. Accessibility has always been a big deal for us. You have to be able to understand it, afford it, and get there. So your three aspects of accessibility. So we were in high schools for a long time. We didn't become a professional orchestra until the 1980s.
Okay.
We were
And-
community up until then.
So like a lot of the students from the high school would have been in the symphony as well.
And the adult school and the local college, yes.
So Valley College. Or?
Yes, as well as professional musicians. But when we became a professional orchestra, that everything kind of changed. Where we've been union ever since, and
But there is
hiring, yeah.
not to take away, there is volunteer orchestras around here. So there is.
There
places for
are.
people to
There's
go.
wonderful
And
ones.
Redlands.
Redlands has a wonderful
I
community
just
orchestra.
went over and saw that in the building at the high school.
hmm
Incredible.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
wonderful.
It was like the sound was good. It was crisp. Like for someone who's been to the LA Phil probably like 30 times, right? There was not a lot of difference. So like I was like, wait a second, this is why don't you pay these guys a big bucks? Anyways, but so like they are professional, but there is spots for local musicians.
Oh,
to cut their
absolutely.
teeth. And-
Not in our orchestra
not in yours,
because of
yeah,
our CBA with the union, Local 47, and we love them. But in around town, there are. And then in our schools, the orchestra and band programs are outstanding. I had the distinct pleasure of attending the County Honor Orchestra and County Honor Band performances, and they were fantastic.
Okay.
So we're bringing up great musicians who someday could become full-time working musicians, like the folks we hire at the San Bernardino Symphony. Isn't that neat?
So
They're coming from here.
Yes, and that to me, hiring locals is very important, yeah, especially with specialties, things like that.
That's why we perform here in San Bernardino. We're a regional orchestra. We bring in people from all over to come to our orchestra, and our players primarily live in LA because they're full-time working musicians, and that's where the studios are, where they do the majority of their work. But
for
yeah.
movie
Yeah,
soundtracks.
soundtracks. That's what our maestro does primarily. Is I really can't say that anymore because 30 weekends out of this year he is conducting somewhere in the world.
So he's working his butt off, right?
Yes, and he's also in the sound studios all the time. Have you seen the new Avatar movie?
Yes, I have. Yes,
He
yes.
conducted that music for that.
It's an incredible, like almost psychedelic experience with the music and the lights and.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The 3D glasses.
Oh yeah, you gotta have
Right?
those. Gotta
Yeah.
have those. But he conducted that. He conducted Black Panther 2: Wakanda Forever. He conducted Encanto. He conducted Encanto at the Hollywood Bowl as well. And what else has he done?
I know. He did
the new Indiana Jones movie.
Music Under the Stars with fireworks last year.
He did, and he's doing it again this year, along with our principal guest
Didn't that
conductor.
start at 7:30 on this Saturday
The
coming up?
baton goes down at 7:30. That's correct. At San Bernardino Valley College on the football field, which is an incredibly beautiful state-of-the-art football field with a coach's box that colleges would like to see. I mean, no, the professionals would like to
Okay.
see. They seriously. It is gorgeous, and it's on the football field. We have two jumbotrons, so any place you sit on the football field is going to be great. There is table seating. Most of that is sold. I would venture to say almost all of that is sold. But there's lawn seating, lots and
let me give you
lots.
some advice, team. Someone who gets table seating, be in the crowd. Go.
Well, you're in the crowd wherever you are.
Pay the money. Go over and sit on those bleachers in the back. That's the best view in the whole thing for the fireworks and everything. I've seen.
That's true.
I've seen everybody
Yeah.
on the tables. Because I'm taking pictures of all the people on the
Right,
table,
right.
like when they're not paying attention, right?
Right.
Like they're like got their necks crooked, they looking at the fireworks. I'm like, yeah, we got the best seats, but
All the
it's
seats are
incredible.
good. Yes, yes.
And the music is synced to the fireworks.
It certainly appears that way.
Yeah, so you feel like, wow, like this is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
I
doing
mean-
1812 Overture again at the end and Stars and Stripes Forever. So, you're ending it with this really wonderful, bombastic kind of ending. The concert last year, the biggest comments we had were people who loved Ashley Faatolia. Do you remember him? Kind of a big guy, big voice. He sang some Marvin Gaye.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
then he broke into opera,
Yes,
right? He
yes, I
sang
remember
Nessun
that.
Dorma. And he will be back this year singing that again. But people love the opera. I mean, I was singing along with the Crosby, Stills, and Nash music. But the emails I got were, that opera was amazing. We want more opera. So this year we have a couple of opera singers as well as pop singers. We have 6 singers this year. Five singers this year. And they are going to be amazing and wonderful. And we're going to do some Sound of Music and all sorts of wonderful pieces that people know and love. We obviously do the patriotic stuff because it's 4th of July weekend.
So I show up at Valley College on Saturday. and
Come
you-
at 5:30. Don't
Yeah.
come at 7:30.
Yeah,
you
you-
know why?
You want to come earlier.
You want to come early because San Bernardino Valley College is doing their Summer Fest. And there's going to be, I think, close to 20 food trucks. That's what I was told
That's
today.
what I was just about to ask you.
Yeah.
Last time there was like 5 food
There
trucks.
was 5 food vendors, and we didn't know.
You're like, oh, I remember the food team, huh?
Everybody
That was
remembers
up.
the food. Yeah, there was not enough, and you can bring your own picnic basket, and most people do. But there will be up to 20 food trucks, is what I'm understanding.
Wait, does Yogi Bear frequent this event?
With his picnic basket. I have not seen him.
Picnic basket.
Only, service animals are allowed on the. So I think we'll be low on bears.
Was Yogi a grizzly or a brown?
I don't. He's a bear. He's a
Can-
cartoon
can-
bear.
Engineer, could you look up for us? Is Yogi Bear a grizzly or a brown bear? Right? But anyway,
Yeah.
anyway. So
Yeah.
if you want to bring a picnic, you can bring a picnic.
Totally.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you got 7 kids,
Bring a
7
picnic.
PB&Js and at least 14 waters, right?
At least.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
our good friends at Stater Brothers have provided an entire pallet of water, so there's going to be a lot of waters
What's
there
the-
as well.
I haven't looked at the weather. I'm sure you have.
It's
Black
he's
bear?
a black
Okay.
bear. Okay.
Yogi Bear's
Yeah.
a black bear.
Thank
all right.
you.
All right.
Okay. I think the weather's going to be pretty warm, but it's not going to be as warm as
And
last
this
year.
is in the evening, so
This is in the
cools
evening.
down, yeah.
So the doors open at 5:30. You can go and see all the cool stuff around campus for Summerfest. They'll have their alumni association out. I believe there's clubs and groups out there greeting folks and telling them about what they do and all the things that are offered at our wonderful Valley College. And there'll be face painting, a 360 photo booth. I believe there are some of those big trailers where you can go in and play arcade games and such. So there's a lot to do before the music starts, and that's at 7:30.
All right.
The
So
concert will go till about 9:30.
So what you do is you load up those kids, you have the picnic basket.
Yep.
You tire them out for 2 hours before it.
You let them run around. Yep.
And then watch some fireworks and listen to some music.
Yep.
And then you send them home. They go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
Bam.
And you can do this inexpensively as well, because a lawn seating where you bring your own low camp chair or blanket or whatever is $10 per person, except kids under 12 are free.
Cool.
Yeah. We want to make it really affordable for everybody to be able to go out, spend some time on a college campus, get to know what it's like. I believe that there will be children that go to this every year and decide that they want to go to college because they went to this concert every year.
Or join the symphony.
Or join the symphony. Sure.
Or possibly even become like a fireworks master or whatever.
They could join the Pyro Spectaculars. Puts on the fireworks every year for us.
I was going to ask you, do you hire them, or who hires them?
The school hires,
the school hires them.
Pyro Spectaculars,
Yeah.
correct.
But you ask the
because
school
it's
to
their
do it?
land.
So you ask them to do it for you? Or
They handle all of the contracting.
Okay, and then you pay?
Yes.
Okay. Like, how much does that, are you allowed to say how much that costs?
No.
Dang, man, I never get to know. Like,
Well, I can tell you that putting on a concert where you don't have to bring in your own stage and crew and all of that is about $125,000. Now think about you want to add fireworks onto that, and then think about you want to add a crew that brings in everything, right? So you are talking about a bit of money.
Yes.
Right,
Okay.
which is, and tickets don't pay for that.
Like
Tickets don't
quarter
begin.
Quarter mil? Or?
No, but a bit of money.
Okay.
And like I said, tickets don't pay for that. So we work all year raising the money that it takes to run our budget, which is large. You can look at our 990 and see what our budget is. And we raise the money to put on the shows through donations and grants and things like that. We work on that all year. And any orchestra will tell you your tickets are not going to pay for the orchestra. But we want to keep the prices affordable because we want everybody, arts is the purview of everyone. And we want to make sure that everyone that wants access to the arts has it.
And as they should.
Yeah, we don't change our prices. We don't raise our prices. And we don't go through organizations that sell tickets that add huge fees onto their tickets. We don't do that because we want to make sure that everyone that wants to be there can be there. We don't want economics to be an issue.
Expensive.
Well, it's not to say that we don't have expensive tickets. We have some tickets that are $100. But I'm sure that if you were buying Taylor Swift tickets that start at $1,300, $100 isn't much. But we also have tickets that are $20. And students in active military are $15. So, but for this, lawn seating is $10.
Know what the parents love the best?
Free?
Yeah, they like that free.
I like
so
free.
Kids under 12
are free.
And you know what the other thing the kids like to hear? Fireworks. So right, you put free and fireworks.
Free and fireworks.
So if you
food
make
trucks,
the food trucks
family.
are there. If you have money for that, bring it. But you can bring a picnic.
Yes, you can.
And Yogi Bear is a black bear. So, but he will not be in attendance. I heard right.
My understanding is service animals are welcome.
That means your picnic basket is safe, team. It is safe. All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. $10. Show up at 5:30 for the music Symphony Under the Stars with fireworks,
which begins at 7:30.
This Saturday. But show up at 5:30 and check out all the vendors at the event. And they'll have regular vendors telling you about Valley College, but they'll also have food trucks up to 20.
Yes. That's what they're telling me. I was there today. I'm on the board, and so we're in the middle of a 2-day workshop that we do.
Man, how many boards are you surfing?
I'm on some boards. This is an elected board, though.
5?
I'm on some boards.
5? 6?
Fewer than you, I'm sure.
I know. I tell people no.
Oh, well.
I learned real quick that if I don't say no, you get overwhelmed.
I think it's really important for our region to have cheerleaders.
Yes.
And being on a board is part of That's part of your job.
It's like,
Somebody said, what do you do as, exactly. Somebody said, what do you do as executive director? I said, raise all the money, and I'm the official cheerleader. Because we have people that do amazing work, and people need to point that out.
and
It's my job.
It does take a team to do those kinds of big
Oh,
projects,
heavens,
yeah,
yes.
so.
Heavens, yes. If you
Yeah.
come out on Saturday, you'll see.
And I'm not saying that boards aren't good. Please, if you are on a board, join it. But just realize that do your research before you join it and
Boards
study
are
it.
work.
Yeah.
Boards are work. I never go on a board just to get my name on something.
Yeah, you got to love it. You got to really want to do it, and that's why
gotta wanna do the
asked
work.
And you can see why I asked about the museum board, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that would be something that I would love to do. But
You should look into it.
Maybe one of these local non-for-profits is your cup of tea or whatever. And there's always a positioning opening up for these.
The
different
symphony
local
has a
boards.
board.
Yeah, there's several. Last time you told me there's several levels of boards or different boards.
For the symphony?
Yeah.
Well, we have a guild, which is our
guild.
volunteer group.
Okay.
And then we also have a board, which is our governing group.
Okay. So you can learn to be is that a step up after
No,
the guild?
no,
or is
no.
it everyone?
Guild people want to be volunteers, and board people want to be board people.
Okay.
There's usually not a lot of crossover,
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Well,
but they're both very important. Our board is amazing.
Well, I just learned something new, and like
Yeah.
I imagine if I apply that to most of the groups out there that have two separate, it is like that, huh? You
Sure.
like people. Some people want to lead, and some people just want to.
They want to be part
Yeah.
of making wonderful things happen. When you go to one of our regular concerts, afterwards there's this big party upstairs. If we're at the California Theater, up in the California Room, and that's put on by our guild.
So how do we find out? How do we buy these tickets? Where do we go?
You go to sanbernardinosymphony.org, and then you just click on concert and events, choose July 1st, and you can go right in and get either general lawn seating or assigned table seating.
Or you can wait in line like me, team. $10. Bring it. $10. 12 and under, free.
Yep.
7:30, San Bernardino Valley College, Symphony Under the Stars with fireworks. Show up early.
Yeah.
Enjoy the event beforehand with the food trucks.
It's on the football fields on the
Bring
south
those
end of
kids,
campus.
because you're going to
Yeah.
inspire them to want to go to that campus and then to Cal State, which I did.
Exactly.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vercel.
Vercel. Yep.
Dr. Vercel. And this is Robert Porter with the I Love San Bernardino County Radio Show with Eric. And we are out of here.